Good day, fellow learners. This is once again your mentor, Ray Gapus, joining you on the part 3 for our teaching and learning session on the concept entrepreneurial behavior and personality, or entrepreneurial personality and behavior. Okay, so let's begin. This time we're going to talk about skills and competencies of an entrepreneur. And we'll actually have these objectives that would serve as our guide in the direction of our discussions today. So, what are the 7 skills of innovative entrepreneurs? First and foremost would be basic financial skills. Sabi nga in Tagalog, kailangan marunong sa pera. And there's several things that you need to focus on as an entrepreneur. First, you have to know how to read and prepare your balance sheet. So your balance sheet actually shows how the business is performing in a general sense. So it actually helps you decipher the assets, the liabilities, including the equity of the owner and the shareholders. When I say equity, it's the value of the shares, especially of the investors. Okay, so income statement would actually give you, in a nutshell, an idea of how much the company is earning. Cash flow would give you an idea of how much the company is spending from the cash that it receives. And then the statement of the owner's equity, it details the changes in the equity held by the shareholders depending on the performance of the company. So, tumaas ba yung value ng share nila? Bumaba ba yung value ng share nila? How is the company doing at this point in time? So, basic to the entrepreneur should be your ability to read and prepare your finances. Okay? Next, networking. As a beginning entrepreneur, you can initially make a list of the people who you want to introduce your products to. Some people would say, unahin ang kaibigan kasi hindi ka matatanggihan, unahin ang pamilya kasi hindi ka matatanggihan. When I started developing my entrepreneurial skills, meron akong cabinet sa bahay where it has all sorts of mga ginagamit sa bahay, like condiments, no? Meron ako dong mga spices, vinegar, toyo. Because minsan pag naubusan ng asin, you will walk to the market. O di ba? Pagka tinatamad ang mga taong pumunta sa palengke, bibili sila sa akin. So that small little cabinet paved the way for me to eventually learn the ropes of how to approach potential clients. Of course, that begin with family members. Then when I became an entrepreneur, I have to get in touch with industry leaders, alumni from educational institutions. And of course, kaya ang issue dito ngayon ay, yun nga, dumadami ang mga solicitor general. Okay? Okay? Solicitations, of course, is part of it. So if you want to do a little PR, just make sure that you are not spending all your budget for marketing just for solicitation purposes, which simply means you are just pleasing 1, 2, or 3 people. You're giving so much and it's not yielding you the return of investment in terms of product exposure that you need. 3, the ability to accept and act on feedback. Now, this skill requires you to be very, very humble. Why? Only a humble person is able to listen to the feedback of the customers. And after listening, then you reflect on it. So first and foremost, if you want to be successful at accepting and acting on the feedback of customers, you first have to put the truth ahead of your passion. Even if you're so passionate about your business, kailangan unahin mo ano ang katotohanan. Is it being accepted by your customers? Don't say, oh, my product is excellent. They don't want to use it because these people are idiots. You don't do that. Okay? You first have to learn how to listen to your customers, find out why, despite your perceived excellence of your product, are they not using it? Okay, next, pattern recognition. So you are supposed to be able to monitor market trends as well as user behavior. And when you come up with new product, you actually would test it first internally, and you call that alpha testing. So you allow some people to use your product initially. I've seen this in one very famous dermatology clinic. So after the formulation of the dermatologist of a whitening treatment, they first try it on the staff of the clinic. Okay, that's what we call alpha testing. And then beta testing would be through external users. If you want to find out about the sentiments of your would-be target market. Now, if you know how to identify market trends and user behavior, then that will make you very, very ahead of the competition. Why? Because with that, you can strategize based on the presence of emerging competitors in the industry. And once you are able to come up with a good strategy, that will make you lead the pack in terms of offering your product. Okay? Strategic thinking. When you say strategic thinking, you need your analytical skills, which simply means you have to have a knowledge of the market conditions, emerging business, okay, internal resource allocation, strengths, weaknesses, communication skills, which is very, very important. There's one important thing that we use in nursing that you can use in your business. I modified it on our end. Remember SBAR communication, situation, background, assessment, recommendation. In our office, we just use SBR, situation. You have to describe what happened, background, so provide information, and then a recommendation. What is the solution from your own perspective? So having that format facilitates communication in the office. Kasi mahilig tayong magsabi na, ay, good morning po sir, okay po ba sa inyo? May sasabihin po sana kung dami nating rhetorics. That's a waste of time. So in the office, we use SBR method. And then problem-solving skills, okay? You have to have strategic planning abilities, which simply means you have to know how to interpret the data that are being served to you in terms of, for example, missed financial targets, inefficient workflows, or presence of a lot of emerging competition in the market. You have to be able to take this into consideration to position yourself properly in the market. And then planning and management skills. You have to learn how to think. Don't focus on what should you think about. Learn how to think, plan, and then have that plan flexible enough, because we know for a fact that the business climate is not fixed. It's constantly changing. And so managing change requires a lot of planning and management skills. Number 6, negotiation. So the first, like your nurse-patient relationship, the first step before engaging in negotiation is to build trust. Once again, it's going to be easy for you to negotiate if you have proven to your client that your product works. No amount of black propaganda can topple you down. Not even sour graping previous employees and competitors can topple you down if your product works. So at the end of it all, it's about having the product that works. No amount of marketing can make you successful. So you have to know how one very famous dermatology clinic ventured into beauty products, and then eventually have the beauty products being on a special offer website. Why? Because if you're gonna read the feedback of people who use this, they would say, oh, na ano lang, na overhype lang to. Hindi naman, umitim naman ako, gumamit ako ng sunblock. You see, at the end of the day, it's how the user would react to your product. That's why I am not a believer of multi-level marketing, because may idiosyncrasies ang ating katawan. Hindi pwedeng ang gagamitin mo sa katawan mo ay gagaling sa isang kumpanya. What if ang nakasanayan ng kutis mo ay perla soap lamang? At ang nakasanayan mo na pantanggal ng dirt sa mukha mo ay Eskinol lamang. So would you want to have a package when you have your proven choices that has worked in the past? Sabi nga nila, di ba? If it ain't broke, then why fix? Okay? So a lot of multi-level marketing don't last that long because they reach their saturation point and then they don't know what to do next. So if you are one of those who are giving false reassurance that this worked for you and it will work for your friend too, I don't think that's a good business model. At the end of it all, the product should speak for itself. Okay? Now, find uncommon ground. Instead of initially finding some commonalities between you and a potential customer, find something that will make you curious about the person, something uncommon on your end and on the client's end, so that you have the opportunity to talk about these things that you are not familiar with on both of your sides, and then talk about it. And then be agile. What does that mean? You have to move as fast as you can when you are introducing a product. So you have to know how to saturate the market when you need to. Remember, time is of the essence when you have a product. And the most important thing that you have to remember is every minute counts. And each of those minutes that you lose is a deduction to your potential revenue. So remember to be agile. 7, growth mindset. Now pay particular attention to the fact that running a business is not just having the intelligence, the abilities, or the talent, okay? Because an enterprise is never static. The market is never static. So you have to learn how to be flexible. You have to learn how to improve on your product. You have to learn how to look for opportunities to venture into new things, okay? And, okay, with that, let's now summarize the entrepreneurial behavior and personality using the 10 Ds of an entrepreneur. And let me put a little Filipino flavor to it by integrating some anecdotes from among those whom I rub elbows with in our business group, the Go Negosyo Group, under the Philippine Center for Entrepreneurship, which has been previously attached to the Office of the President. So let's begin. Okay, the first D. Every entrepreneur should have a dream. Dapat nag-uumpisa yan sa dream. And for you to turn that dream into reality, you have to have a vision. Remember Ricky Reyes of Gandang Ricky Reyes Salon? At age 13, he knows what he wants. He wanted to be a hairdresser. And he envisioned himself as a professional hairdresser dahil wala nga siyang pera na mag-aral. So nagpatayo siya ng eskwelahan na hindi niya dati napasukan, binili niya. Okay? And that started with having a clear vision. Next, of course, yung bunsong kapatid ni Ricky Reyes na ating kaibigan, Les Reyes, who was a co-awardee in the Agora Award for Entrepreneurship. Well, previous awardees were Ben Chan, Henry C., John Gokong Wei, okay? And yours truly being the first nurse entrepreneur to be awarded that recognition. Decisiveness, swift decision-making, don't procrastinate. Now, what's inspiring with Les Reyes is, pag tinanong mo ang taong ito na napaka-down to earth, hindi siya marunong gumupit. But he is running a salon business. Remember, Reyes Hair Cutters, ang salon ng bayan, ng tagline niya. Why? Kasi he has that ability to decide whenever opportunities present themselves in front of him. He doesn't procrastinate. Okay? There was even a time that he has Reyes Hair Cutters in New York. Okay? Next, doers. Implement one's course of action as quickly as possible. Remember, okay, Vicky Bello, the doers are people who act as fast as they can. Okay? At ang example nga natin ng doers ay group of entrepreneurs natin, no? Sino ba yung mabilis mag-put up ng kanilang branches? Okay? Because they saw the need for it. Okay? So example ng mga enterprises na maraming branches, like for example, Mang Inasal of India. Okay? For determination. You have to be totally committed. Okay? They seldom give up even in the face of insurmountable obstacles. Hindi na um, tinatago ngayon ni Vicky Bello, and if you would watch some of her interviews lately, she said that she has been diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer and was in fact given 2 years to live. So may taning ang buhay. But if you would notice, she's still all over the place, acting as a marketing advocate for Bello Medical Group. She never stopped. That's determination. Okay? 5, Nanay Socorro of National Bookstore. Gustong-gusto kong advice ni Nanay Socorro. Sabi niya, if you're an entrepreneur, there's no day off. You have to be willing to work tirelessly 24/7. You should be on top of your enterprise. Totoo naman. 6, of course, my former boss, Tony Tan Kakchong of Jollibee. The 6D is devotion. Entrepreneurs love what they do. So I've been saying a while back, find your passion, turn it into a business, because if your passion is your business, you are not working not a single second of your life because you're doing what you love to do. So loving what they do makes them sell their product or service more effectively because it's coming from the heart. 7, of course, details. My co-awardee in Marquis Husu in the world. On top of the critical details of the business, yan ang tatak ni Attorney Gozon. Felipe Gozon of GMA 7 always looks at the figures, ratings ng programs, okay? Lagi nilang tinitignan yan. Because at the end of the day, that's when you get a feedback coming from the televiewers. Next, of course, isa sa mga idol ko. Why? Because they used to operate a bakery. John Lucoa, a French baker. Eventually, siyang nagde-deliver ng pandesal sa L300. And then when he decided to level up their business, gumawa na siya ng merong brand na tinapay. So, French baker. John Lucoa also teaches business administration sa UP Diliman. So, very, very educated and multi-awarded entrepreneur. So, he's one person who created his own destiny. Ayan. Then, of course, dollars. Manny Villar, one of the richest, okay, politicians we've ever had, and is actually now the richest Filipino, and is actually in Forbes magazine's list of richest people in the world. So, hindi lang sa Pilipinas, sa buong mundo. Okay? Remember, entrepreneurs don't consider money as the main motivation. Entrepreneurs assume that they will be rewarded with money if they become successful. So don't chase for the greenbacks. Don't chase the dollars. It will come to you when the universe reward you for a job well done. And of course, ang isa sa mga idol ko, Ben Chan. Why? Meron siyang fixed salon, meron siyang bench apparel, meron siyang now skincare. And he's not a doctor. So he is a person who has a very entrepreneurial mindset. Okay? So one thing I admire with Benchan is they're open to franchising or duplicating the business that they have. They distribute ownership of their business with employees who are critical to the success of their business. So don't turn your employees as just employees forever. When you become successful, share your blessings. Turn them into your partners. So, with that, this is the end of part 3, and I hope you were able to get a good grasp of what we hope to achieve for this third part of the video. Once again, this is your mentor Ray saying, Thank you for joining me in this lesson.